people say, oh, Trumpster, that's a cult, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like cult is such a negative word. We are not a cult. We are a group of Americans that love our country and want it back.
Are there any old hits or things you hope he goes back to?
Oh gosh, I feel like whatever he spews out of his mouth, I just love it.
How would you like to see Donald Trump turn this into a more godly country?
I think that he is trying to do it in a more godly way.
How so?
Common sense. 2 genders. They just did a Supreme Court ruling on it, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
They did.
How did Donald Trump make your life better?
Oh, he gives me hope that someone will stand up for it. As the Bible also says, whenever there's times of great trouble and you're his people, that he will provide a leader. And I do believe that Trump is our leader that God has given us.
A new ballroom, maybe?
Of course. That's great. That is great.
Are you excited about the ballroom?
I am.
Yeah?
Yes.
Why is that? What's so exciting about the
I
ballroom?
think we need it.
Yeah?
I do.
You know, I remember going to the voting booth and being like, the first priority for me, a good space for the Lindy Hop.
That's important.
Why do you think Donald Trump was fighting the release of the Epstein files last summer?
He keeps flip-flopping. I mean, when he was on the campaign trail, he said release it, and, Cash said release it, everyone said release it, and then all of a sudden it was national security. I think it has to do with the billionaire class. I think it has to do with the stock market tanking. I think Trump puts a lot of stock in stock, right. So he wants to keep that kind of money train flowing, and I think that would kind of hinder business in America.
Did that make you question your support for him at all when he was fighting the release of it?
No? Unconditional support for him. Definitely the hand of God.
And why is Donald Trump so great?
He loves our nation. He absolutely sacrifices who he is and everything he is for this nation and asks nothing in return.
In exchange, though, he has made about $5 million per day on his crypto scams.
I'm ending the conversation. Okay. I'm going to keep walking.
Do you believe Donald Trump was picked by God?
Well, I believe that Reverend Moon prayed for 10 years for someone like him to come along. So, yeah, I think he is the hand of God, literally.
What does that mean, literally?
It means he's the central figure for Christianity, the central figure for the future of humanity at this point.
I think a lot of what happened with Epstein and stuff is kind of this, there was obviously like a lot of things that happened and stuff, so I feel like I think he's being as transparent as he honestly should be.
The allegations are kind of ridiculous. It was 40 years ago. So what if he dated teenagers? Yep. I dated teenagers when I was 30.
Exactly.
I was 20. Roy was 30.
He was 30, but they were 14.
Exactly.
We got to get Biden out.
Why?
Why? Because he's got dementia. He has no idea what he's doing. He's bringing all these people over from other countries that are destroying our country.
So he's bringing them over, you're saying?
Yeah, he's bringing them all over. And it's ridiculous.
In what way? Can you be specific about that?
They're coming through the border because the border's not protected like Trump did it.
I think people really realize how counterintuitive the hate that I receive when you can take one look at my page and see that I am doing the work.
I know you're not the only one that's leaving MAGA and receiving hate, but I want to point out in a visual way, if we can, on why you're not entitled to forgiveness just because you are deconstructing from your past, which that's great. You're not entitled to anyone's forgiveness. And this is why. Your actions as a triple Trumper, actions that everyone has taken, they are the effect that they've had in this country. So think of it as this blank sheet of paper. This is a blank sheet of paper that now represents our country. And this is what Trump and everything related to him, they're doing. Okay, so it doesn't matter that you are asking for forgiveness, deconstructing all of that. Doesn't change the fact that this is the country now. Like this is the country that we have now. And you can smooth it, you can do whatever you want to it, but it doesn't change the fact that it has created irreversible changes and has actually cost the lives of people. So you are not entitled to forgiveness because this was the cause of what you have done, your words and your actions. We teach this to kids actually, so that they can see the power that their words and actions have on the world around them. So you do need to deconstruct, but it doesn't take anyone's forgiveness in order for you to do that.
I thought it would be easier talking about leaving MAGA as a 3-time Trump voter than it is, but some of y'all are really mean. And I get this was me this time last year, but that doesn't matter because again, my feelings matter. Years never mattered. The level of hate I'm getting is unreal. People telling me to have accountability, to put the work into my community, instead of coming on the internet and crying for myself. Like, you just don't get it. So much for the tolerant left. You guys are exactly how the right describes you. Like, how do you not get that this shit is hard?
A lot of y'all MAGA are counting on us to forgive and forget, because that's what liberals do, right? We forgive and we forget. We're the tolerant ones, not me, bitch. Not this liberal. I've saved screenshots and videos so that 20 years from now, when you're trying to tell your little grandbabies, oh, I wasn't a part of that. That was racist. When you're trying to act like you weren't a good little Nazi, I'm going to be there and I'm going to post that shit. Y'all remember that?
I voted for him, yes. But the quicker that you people welcome ex-MAGAs like myself, the more that MAGA is going to be willing to leave. The fact that you guys throw so much hate at ex-MAGA truly makes us not want to leave the cult. I have seen at least 3 or 4 videos like that in my FYP the last freaking hour. And to me, it's ridiculous, because if you want to leave a cult, if you want to leave anything, you're doing it for yourself and nobody else. You don't need somebody to welcome you. Plus, leaving the cult and unlearning the things that made you think it was okay to be in the cult and support the person that you were supporting are 2 totally different things. Yeah, you can leave because you didn't like that AI picture he posted, or because you don't like the way he's acting right now, or you can leave because you know that he's racist, he's a pedophile, he's all these things, and you don't agree with them. Oh, you gotta welcome ex-MAGA. No, nobody has to do anything. What you have to do, if you truly want to make a change, is change yourself and talk to those around you who also think the way you do, and explain to them why they're also wrong. Maybe they'll listen to you.
What happens when the pain you ignore suddenly becomes your own? Across America, some voters who once dismissed the struggles of others are now facing rising prices, job uncertainty, healthcare costs, or policy changes firsthand. Now, the debate has shifted from politics to accountability, and millions of Americans are asking one difficult question: is it too late for sympathy? Let's watch more clips and we'll come back to talk about it.
Buckle up, because this is a controversial one. Should we forgive the people leaving MAGA? I've gotten a ton of comments from people who say they will never forgive them, full stop. Others say we can't just yell at them as they leave, or they will stay with MAGA and continue to do more damage before we can wrestle control of the country back. Others make the point that they don't deserve the coddling, and if they aren't willing to face the shame of their actions and need to be shielded from them, how are we supposed to trust that their leaving is even likely to stick? I've had some very eloquent points made in my comments about the danger of allowing these clearly self-serving and untrustworthy people anywhere near our BIPOC-led movements. That would be like inviting Bruce on Nemo's field trips and saying, hey now, he's reformed, when anyone complains, despite the fact that Bruce proved that he can't control himself if there's any blood in the water. Here's where I stand. No one has to forgive anyone. These people have done serious relational damage to my BIPOC community. Obviously you do you. Did you think a white woman was going to tell you how to behave? Probably because we are the worst, but that's another topic. To my white people, you don't have to be their best friend, you don't even have to like them, but it is our responsibility to educate and police ourselves. We didn't do that, and a whole Nazi party was allowed to flourish. You don't have to congratulate them or tell them that they're amazing for leaving. All I'm saying is that you treat it like it's a normal and positive thing for society, which it is. They are exiting a cult that encouraged and amplified their fears and hate. Encourage them to keep learning and to find more people like them that are getting out. They don't belong in spaces with minorities. Unless they do major work to deconstruct, they cannot be trusted. But that doesn't mean that they should just have to stay in MAGA. At a minimum, please just show some indifference toward them so that they can work themselves out with their own community of ex-MAGA. No forgiveness necessary, just an appropriate level of tolerance.
This might be a hot take, but if you see someone in public that has a MAGA hat, literally don't acknowledge it. I was in Chicago last week and some guy came up to me in a grocery store and he asked me where the avocados are. He was wearing a MAGA hat, literally didn't look at it, and I said, back right corner, have a nice day, kept walking. And he goes, wait, I have something else to ask you, and I turn around and he just stared at me like he wanted me to say something about his hat, like he was wanting the attention. So don't give it to them. At this point, there's no election going on. They simply want to engage you so that you argue with them so that they can have this exciting interaction. Because a lot of them don't see politics as dealing with people's lives. They see it as a hypothetical culture war that they are winning right now, and they want to flaunt that they are winning, that they are being protected by the current administration. So absolutely do not give into that. Simply pretend like you don't see it. They might touch their hat, they might fiddle with it, they might point to it, they might even say, what do you think of my hat? Say nothing, just keep walking. It's genuinely like a toddler. When a toddler is engaging in bad behavior, ignore them. Do not give them attention, don't feed into it. Simply say, hey, I'm not going to talk about that right now. Don't behave that way. and then it stops.
One of the biggest lessons in politics is that public policies rarely affect only one group. Whether it's inflation, healthcare, tariff, immigration, or changes to government programs, the effect eventually spread through entire communities. Economists have long pointed out that policies create ripple effects that reach workers, businesses, consumers, and families alike. That's exactly why this conversation has become so emotional. Some Americans believe people deserve compassion when they admit that the policies they supported had unintended consequences. Others argue that voters were warned for years and that accountability has to come before forgiveness. Both perspectives continue to shape today's political debate, but one fact remains: elections have real-world consequences. Every vote helps shape policies that affect not only the people who cast that ballot, but also their neighbors, local businesses, schools, and entire communities. Maybe the biggest lesson here is that empathy shouldn't begin only after hardship becomes personal. Understanding how policies affect other people before they affect you may be one of the most important responsibilities of citizenship. So, what do you think? Should Americans respond with empathy when people regret their political choices, or should accountability come first? Share your thoughts in the comment respectfully, and before you go, do well to like and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next.